"Sir, can you tell Santa we moved?" said a boy to the poor single mom's boss on Christmas night. If you've ever believed that one small moment can change an entire life, stay with this story until the end. And if stories like this touch your heart, take a second to like the video and subscribe to the channel, because sometimes a single story is all it takes to remind us what kindness still exists in the world. Christmas Eve had a way of making silence louder. The city was dressed in lights, windows glowing with warmth, laughter spilling from restaurants, bells chiming somewhere far away. But inside the small office building on 9th Street, only one floor was still lit. On that floor, at the far end of the hallway, a woman sat at her desk, typing with tired fingers, counting minutes instead of money. Her name was Elena Brooks. She was 32, a single mother, and the last employee left in the building. Cleaning crews had already passed. Coats were gone from hooks, and holiday music that once played softly through the speakers had long been turned off. Elena stayed because overtime meant groceries. Overtime meant heat. Overtime meant her 6-year-old son, Noah, wouldn't wake up cold. Outside her office door, Noah sat quietly on the floor, hugging a worn-out backpack. Inside it was everything they owned that mattered. 2 sweaters, a broken toy car, and a folded piece of paper with a crayon drawing of a house that no longer existed. They'd moved again, for the 3rd time that year. Elena glanced at the clock. 9:47 p.m. Just 10 more minutes, she whispered, mostly to herself. Then we're done. Noah didn't complain. He never did. He had learned too early that complaining didn't fix things. Instead, he swung his legs gently and stared at the Christmas tree in the lobby downstairs. It was tall and beautiful, decorated with silver ornaments and wrapped boxes that were only for show. He wondered if Santa would find them this year. Their last apartment had been basement unit with a broken heater. When the landlord raised the rent 2 weeks before Christmas, Elena packed what she could and moved them into a tiny room behind a closed-down laundry shop, offered by a woman who felt sorry for them. It had one window and a lock that stuck. Noah didn't know the word eviction. He just knew Santa had their old address. That's when the elevator dinged. Elena froze. No one used the elevator this late except one person, Mr. Richard Hale, the owner of the company, Elena's boss. Her heart dropped to her stomach as footsteps echoed down the hallway. She stood quickly, smoothing her worn sweater, panic flashing through her eyes. She wasn't supposed to bring a child to work. It was against company policy, against everything. The footsteps stopped. Mr. Hale stood in the doorway, tall, well-dressed, silver-haired, the kind of man who looked like he belonged in warm homes with fireplaces and leather chairs. He held his coat over one arm and his phone in the other, clearly surprised. "Elena?" he said. "You're still here?" "Yes, sir," she replied quickly. I was just finishing a report." His eyes shifted past her, down to the floor, to Noah. The boy stood up slowly, holding his backpack straps, eyes wide but curious. He didn't see a boss or an owner. He saw a man in a long coat who looked important, someone who might know Santa. Elena rushed forward. "I'm so sorry, sir. I couldn't leave him alone tonight. I'll make up the hours." But Mr. Hale raised a hand, not angry, just confused. "It's Christmas Eve," he said softly. "Why are you both here?" Elena swallowed. "Because Christmas doesn't stop the bills." Before she could say more, Noah took a small step forward. He tugged gently on Mr. Hale's coat sleeve. The room went silent. "Sir?" Noah said, his voice small but steady. Mr. Hale looked down, surprised. "Yes, son?" Noah hesitated, then asked the question that would change everything. "Sir, can you tell Santa we moved?" The words hung in the air. Elena felt her chest tighten. "Noah, it's okay," Mr. Hale said quietly, crouching down to Noah's level. "Why do you want me to tell him?" Noah opened his backpack and pulled out the crayon drawing. A little house with a chimney, smoke rising into the sky, and 2 stick figures holding hands. "Santa comes to the old house," Noah said. "But we don't live there anymore. I don't think he knows." Mr. Hale stared at the drawing longer than necessary. "And where do you live now?" he asked. Noah shrugged. "It's smaller, but my mom says it's okay. I just don't want Santa to think we forgot him." Elena turned away, tears burning her eyes. She had worked so hard to stay strong. But in that moment, strength slipped through her fingers. Mr. Hale stood slowly. "Why don't you two come with me?" he said. "I was heading out anyway." Elena panicked. "Sir, I don't want to cause trouble." "You're not," he said firmly, "and it's cold outside." They rode the elevator down in silence. The Christmas tree lights reflected in the mirrored walls, making everything feel unreal. Outside, snow had begun to fall, soft, slow, and quiet. Mr. Hale opened the passenger door of his car. "Get in," he said. They drove through streets glowing with decorations, past houses filled with laughter and warmth. Noah pressed his face to the window, watching the lights blur together. Finally, the car stopped. Elena frowned. "Sir, this isn't—" "I know," Mr. Hale said. They were in front of a small cafe, one of the few still open. Inside, it smelled like cinnamon and coffee. Mr. Hale ordered hot chocolate for Noah, tea for Elena, and nothing for himself. He just watched them. "Tell me the truth," he said gently. "How long has it been this hard?" Elena hesitated, then everything came out. The divorce, the medical bills, the second job that disappeared, the rent increases, the nights Noah pretended not to be hungry. "I don't want pity," she said. "I just want a chance." Mr. Hale nodded slowly. When they finished, he stood up. "Wait here," he said. "I'll be right back." 20 minutes later, he returned with a small wrapped box and a piece of paper. He knelt in front of Noah. "I spoke to Santa," he said seriously. "He knows where you live now." Noah's eyes widened. "Really?" "Yes," Mr. Hale smiled. "And he asked me to give you this early." Noah opened the box. Inside was a small toy train, the exact one he had circled in a store window weeks ago, thinking no one noticed. Elena covered her mouth. Mr. Hale handed her the paper. It was a new job offer. Full-time, better pay, flexible hours, health insurance. "And," he added, "there's an apartment upstairs from my sister's bakery. No rent for 6 months." Elena broke down. Christmas morning came quietly, in a warm room, with heat, with hope. Noah placed his drawing on the windowsill so Santa could see it clearly. And every Christmas after that, Elena told Noah the same thing. "Sometimes," she said, "Santa doesn't come down the chimney." "Sometimes," Noah replied with a smile, "he rides an elevator." If this story moved you, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Because kindness deserves to be shared, and sometimes all it takes is listening to a child who believes.